After I told people of my diagnosis, and to be frank, it never occurred to me not to tell everyone as soon as I had heard, an old friend phoned up to offer his sympathy. He has bladder cancer, and he phoned up to sympathize with me. Now, I can remember when no one talked about cancer. Now its treatment, its prevention, and its cure are commonplace subjects. Dementia, on the other hand, is stuck in a medieval fog of superstition, misunderstanding, and silence. Corrosive silence, shameful silence. It is well known that Lady Thatcher was very moved by her friend's condition when Ronald Reagan actually had dementia, and she told the Daily Telegraph at the end of the year 2000 that it was important to raise awareness of these diseases so that treatment may well be encouraged. And that's why I'm here. Awareness slips, and periodically someone has to stand up again. And this time, I regret it's me. I want this disease to be dragged into the light and stay there, and seen for what it is, a random disease, and no cause for shame. I'm a fantasy writer. I know something about folklore and history, and I know that before you can slay the demon, you have to say its name. And the second thing you need is an efficient sword. The disease has a physical cause. It will go down to a physical defense. I was amazed when I began this journey at how many people I met had encountered AD in their immediate circle. 1 in 3 of the people who reach what we think of as old age will go to their death with some kind of dementia, even if it's not the dementia which actually kills them, and they're claimed by some other disease. And yet, we all seem to tolerate the disease because it's seen as something that happens to old people and can't be helped. I have to say that once upon a time, it was normal for any child to grow up having seen the death of one or more of its siblings before it reached puberty. That's what happened to children. We decided it should not be normal. We can make a similar decision here. There are only 2 ways it can go. Researchers, with as much help as you can give them, may come up with something that reduces the effect of this dreadful inhuman disease. Or we will have to face the consequences of the final years of so many of us being a long, bad dream. The strain on carers and their support is bad enough now. Before long, the effects on the National Health Service and society as a whole will be far too heavy. The load will in fact be unbearable. What is unthinkable is to do nothing at all. Thank you for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much indeed. Well done. Let me just take the... Thank you very much. That was brilliant. Now we'll go just over here. Courage is a very overused word, but today we have courage personified present with us all in the hall. To be told you have Alzheimer's disease can only be a shocking and frightening event. To experience the onset of the disease with its everyday frustrations and emotions, even more so. Some might give up hope. But Terry Pratchett has chosen to embark on a very public battle with Alzheimer's. He's not just fighting the disease, he's fighting perceptions of it and fighting for the right policies from the governments of today and tomorrow. Even for such a renowned author, an action can overcome all words. Terry's gift of £500,000 to the Alzheimer's Research Trust provoked coverage no speech could ever have done. I urge all in the hall and the millions beyond it to join in Terry's resolve, and in his words, match it for Pratchett. For accepting my invitation to address us, for challenging us so frankly as we ensure that we are ready for the responsibilities of government, and most importantly, for campaigning on behalf of the 700,000 people with Alzheimer's, their families and carers. I'm sure I echo all of us and all of them in saying, thank you, Terry. And thank you too to Marianne Talbot for sharing with us her experiences of caring for her mother and father. Alzheimer's has been described as the disease which steals our loved ones before our very eyes. Without the love and courage of carers such as Marianne, millions of people up and down this country would lose the only lifeline they have. Too often, carers have been taken for granted. Did you know that 3/4 of carers feel that their health is worse as a result of the strain of caring? That's 4.5 million of our fellow citizens who haven't been able to have 1 week holiday or any free time when they were not having to care for someone. We are indebted to our 6 million carers, not least Marianne, who go about their singular task with compassion, love, and fortitude. To her and to them, and on behalf of all of us, I say thank you. And not least, thanks to Tim Hammond. As MD of Barchester Homes, he has given us a real insight. You have seen his staff in action at Idenshaw Hall in my constituency in the opening film. It's impossible not to feel genuinely humble spending time alongside these wonderful, compassionate, professional carers. And it's impossible not to be moved by their determination to ensure that those in their care live out their remaining days with dignity. And in the knowledge that this could be visited upon any one of us or our close family, I salute the Barchester carers and the countless professionals across the country who provide residential care and home care in both the private and the public sectors, and say to them, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the issues surrounding the challenges of an ageing population inevitably result in many statistics being thrown about. And that can hide the core of what we're talking about. We are talking about caring for real people, husbands, wives, sisters, brothers, fathers, mothers, friends. People like us who have simply grown old. We're talking about caring for the generation that stepped from the burning embers of post-war devastation and strode purposefully forward to rebuild a nation, home by home. Conservatives rightly speak up for the covenant between us and those who serve our nation in the armed forces. Today, I talk of the covenant between us and the generation that rebuilt our nation. For the first time in British history, we are now home to more pensioners than children. In the years to 2030, the number of over 65s will grow from 8 million to 12 million, from 16 to 22% of the population. Why is this? Very simply because of 3 letters, NHS. Since its foundation, life expectancy in Britain has increased by 12 years. And that is due to the skill, dedication, and professionalism of its staff. David Cameron has rightly made our NHS his #1 priority. Conservatives are committed to achieving the highest standards of care and committed to it as a service, free at the point of use and available according to need, not ability to pay. And we are committed to ending Labour's failing of the most vulnerable in our society. Did you know that after 11 years of a Labour government, the lowest life expectancy is in inner-city Liverpool, Manchester and Glasgow? In Glasgow,